our series where I read the BBC News, an article, an opportunity for you to practice your reading, your pronunciation, and your comprehension skills. This is for people on B2, C1, and C2 levels, and will very much help you with all the skills already mentioned. So let's start with the headline. This is from today, the 2nd of January 2022, and the headline reads: COVID, pupils to wear masks in class in England's secondary schools to tackle Omicron. So here, obviously, this is a new initiative that is coming back where students in classes are going to, specifically in secondary schools. In England, a secondary school is a school for children aged 11 to 18. So there's primary school and then secondary school. So in England, secondary schools, pupils are going to have to wear masks in class to tackle Omicron. Tackle here, what this means is to deal with Omicron. In other words, in order to prevent the spread of Omicron, the government has decided that pupils need to wear masks in class. And of course, the article is going to address this. I'm going to read a few paragraphs and then go over some key terms. Face masks are to be worn in classrooms in England's secondary schools to reduce the spread of the Omicron variant, the government has announced. The temporary reintroduction of face coverings aims to address concerns about schools remaining open for face-to-face learning this coming term. Meanwhile, 6 school staff unions have issued a demand for urgent action to limit the spread of the virus. They warned national exams would be put at risk without further measures. They also called for air cleaning units, financial support for absence cover, help with on-site testing, and a relaxation of the Ofsted inspection regime. So that's the reading, and of course you can review that when it's not live and see exactly how I read it, paying attention to the way that I'm emphasizing the words, where the stresses are, and so forth. So let's have a look at, let's go back over this article. So face masks are to be worn, passive tense, in classrooms in England's secondary schools to reduce, reduce the spread of the Omicron variant. To reduce means to minimize, to make less the number of, to reduce the spread of the Omicron variant. So the Omicron variant of COVID, the government has announced. So the government has made this announcement, and that seems to be that it's going to be the law. The temporary reintroduction. So temporary means something that will only last for a short amount of time. The temporary reintroduction, because during the different waves and phases of COVID, children have had to wear masks. So this isn't the first time. So it's a reintroduction. They're introducing it again of face coverings aims to address concerns. So the purpose of it aims to address, to deal with concerns. So the fact that people are worried about schools remaining open for face-to-face learning this coming term. So there's concern because the Omicron variant is spreading very fast, and of course when you're in school you're face-to-face. This is one way in which the government thinks that if people are wearing masks, there's less chance that the Omicron variant will spread. Meanwhile, so in the meantime, or at the same time, 6 school staff unions, so there are teachers, a lot of teachers, they sign up for unions, which is organizations that protects their rights and their privileges. And they're very powerful, these unions. And so 6 school staff unions have issued a demand. So they have made a demand, they've issued a demand for urgent action. So this is something that needs to happen very soon, they're demanding, to limit the spread of the virus. They warned, so these unions have warned, that national exams, so the national exams in the United Kingdom are specifically, they're talking here about the GCSE exams, which take place when children are 16, and what we call the advanced level exams, A-level exams, which take place when students are 18. And these are the exams that test the abilities and the competency of all the students in the country, and they're very important exams for universities and for future job prospects. So the unions are warning that these national exams would be put at risk without further measures. If nothing else was done, there would be a risk to the exams because obviously students need to study in advance for them. When there is a disruption, then that makes it more difficult. If, for example, people aren't allowed to come into school, then that makes it also difficult in terms of running exams. So they are warning that this is going to make it difficult. They also called for air cleaning units. So when you say here they also called, it doesn't mean they called them on the telephone. It means they also have been demanding. It's another way of saying that they've also been saying that this is also important. Air cleaning units. So these would be machines, I suppose, that are put in classrooms which clean the air. Financial support. So financial is obviously to do with money. So they're asking for the government to give extra money for absence cover. So in schools when teachers are not able to be in and other teachers aren't able to cover for those lessons, they need to bring in other teachers who are able to make sure that the students are being looked after. So that's absence cover. So paying for additional teachers to stand in for the teachers who are absent because of COVID. They're also asking for help with on-site testing, so testing that would take place in schools, and a relaxation of the Ofsted inspection regime. So what this means is a relaxation of the Ofsted inspection. Ofsted is the government inspector that comes into schools to make sure that the schools are doing what they should be doing, and they test a variety of things within schools. Leadership, the teaching and learning, where the students are being looked after properly. This is Ofsted. And so what the unions are asking for is a relaxation of this regime. So because of COVID and all the pressures that schools are going to be under, they are saying there shouldn't be an Ofsted inspections happening at this time. Okay, let's read a little bit more. Schools across the UK are reopening after the Christmas break over the next week, with pupils being asked to take part in on-site COVID testing. Until now, England was the only one of the 4 UK nations where face masks were not recommended for pupils in classrooms. Teachers will not have to wear them under the new guidelines. Some individual schools and local authorities in England had already required masks in classrooms, and face coverings were recommended in schools in England between the 8th of March and the 17th of May last year. So let's just take a look at a few of these points. So schools across the UK, so schools around England and other parts of the United Kingdom are going to be reopening. They're opening again after the Christmas break. So that's this period of time during the year is called the Christmas break. It's obviously because it's Christmas. Over the next week, so the schools are going to be opening actually come this week now, starting in January. And pupils are going to be asked to take part in on-site COVID testing. So tests are going to take place, COVID tests, coronavirus tests, lateral flow tests, they're called here in this country, are going to be taking place on site to make sure that children do not have COVID when they enter school. Until now, England was the only one of the 4 UK nations. The other nations are Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So England was the only one of these where face masks were not recommended for pupils in classrooms. And now, of course, they are being recommended and, in fact, being enforced as far as I can see. Teachers, however, are not going to have to wear them under the new guidelines. So these new guidelines do not mean that teachers will have to wear them. It's just for students, for children. Some individual schools and local authorities in England had already required masks in classrooms. So although in England it was something which generally wasn't being recommended, certain schools and local authorities, so in England the way it works is that there are different what are called local authorities in different parts of the country, and they are kind of in charge of the education of that area of England. The government is ultimately in charge, but they kind of report back to the government, and the government and that has a relationship with them, and they get the local authorities generally get the money, the funding, the budget from the government, and they distribute it to the schools. So these individual schools and local authorities had already required masks in classrooms, and face coverings were recommended in schools in England between the 8th of March and 17th of May last year. So this is not a new thing. I think we'll leave it there for today, but a good idea to go back over this, the live, as it were, and to reread it and hear and to listen again and to see how to read this correctly. Any comments or questions, please do put under the live. I wish you all a good evening, and we'll do this again some other time.